Man of many mistakes. I made them all so you don't have to, but you can if you want to. So today I just want to do it a little different. I want to go on one of those little rants. Yeah, I want to go on those little rants. I see everybody do them all the time on TikTok and YouTube, so I figured, well, sooner or later I'm going to have to go on one. But yeah, it's all good. So when I'm out and about in the public at times, I try to recognize people, you know? I try to recognize people, mainly young adults, younger people. And when I say recognize them, I try to look them in the eye. I try to greet them. And then if the energy is right and if they're surrendered, I'll say, hey, spark up a small conversation. I do that for two reasons. The first reason is a selfish reason. I'm a very introverted person, very to myself person, you know, only child syndrome type of deal. And this is therapy for me to go into the public and be social, you know, because it's not my thing. But it's something I'm appreciating at this point of life. And I say to myself, if I'm going to be vulnerable, I might as well make it worthwhile. So, you know, I could take that same energy and go into the public and, you know, try to meet women or try to approach business people and stuff. But I tend to just stick towards the younger adults who, you know, you might see in a restaurant and they may be a server. And, uh-oh. Okay, no joke. All right, get down. I'm doing a rant. All right, I'm doing a rant. Excuse me. That's Baba. The other one is Jaja. Okay, sit down. By the way, I'm recording this by myself today. I told my cameraman, Spike Free, told him I'm just gonna do a rant today, man, and see how it comes out. So, not sure how it's gonna turn out. It's just me and the dogs. Shout to Spike Free. He got more talent than a disciple. All right, sit. Let's listen to the rant. Anyway, I tend to go gravitate more towards the young adults because I see myself in them, you know. I was there one time. So if you're like a waitress or a waiter in a restaurant, I might find a vibe and catch a vibe with you. Or it doesn't really make a difference where I'm at, but it's just about the energy, the vibe, and you know, being able to plant a seed. So anyway, I ran across these two young adults not too long ago, and the energy was right, and we started talking. And they were telling me, you know, what their ambitions and thoughts was about life. And, you know, my question to them usually is, hey, what are you doing to change the world? How are you going to, you know, what's going to be your way of changing the world? What's your plan? And a lot of them look at the question like, what do you mean change the world? You know, what's going to be your contribution? What are you here for? What are you studying to be? Or is it just this? You know, and that gets them to thinking, right? So these two particular people, they asked them the question, and one of them gave different, you know, they gave different answers, but one of them was giving me more of the problems that they're facing and how they don't see a way out, you know, how they don't see a way out, and their mind is kind of made up that they're not going to be anything, you know, and these are young adults. So that was that conversation. And then the other person was a little more optimistic and had plans and had ambitions, but didn't really have resources. So I understand. I overstand everybody's situation. Been there, done that, and and time again. So as we got a little more comfortable in the conversation, I posed, my ultimate question. Sounds like you guys are putting a lot of energy into either going somewhere or where you're at right now, but that seems where your energy is. I said, let me ask you, what do you think? Who's your most high? Who's your most high? I don't use God. I don't use Jesus. I don't use the commercial words, right? Because that would make me seem as if I'm one of these Bible thumpers or somebody who is just a holy roller, which I'm totally not. My spirit is just embedded in the Most High. So anyway, I said, so who's your Most High? And he didn't understand the question. And then I said, who's your Most High? And she didn't understand the question. So when I explained, they was like, oh, okay, yeah, God, Buddha, Allah. I said, yeah, no matter what the title is, that's someone's Most High. That's who they give their respect to and their energy to, right? So I said, what's your relationship with your Most High? I mean, how often do you guys talk? Does he give you good advice? Do you ask him for advice? I'm asking all of these questions that's just real foreign to them because they've never heard it before. And I know this, but I'm setting them up. I'm setting them up, So these questions, they don't have a lot of answers for. And so I speed up the conversation a little bit and I'm like, well, have you ever given a thought to, giving your energy to your Most High? All your energy. And in return, having your Most High take care of you in ways you can't believe. So now they're really curious. They're into the conversation. We don't went from a meet and greet to a whole conference now, which I'm cool with, right? So they asked me to explain, and I explained. I said, well, one of them asked me, they said, well, you talking about being saved? You talking about being baptized and stuff? I say it's very similar. Yeah, let's just take the word saved. Let's just take that, for instance. I said, she said, well, what's it feel like? I mean, I think she said my grandmother or someone in her family is saved and they always talk about God and stuff. I said, okay. I said, but it's not the same for everybody. But let me explain my journey. So I sat there and I explained to them that my past was a very checkered past. Never had a black heart. Always was just curious, looking for the truth. And I looked for the truth in all the wrong places. Through good people, through bad people, through deceiving people, through, just through a lot of bad channels. And luckily I was able to make it out and I'm here today to talk about it. So I said, the best way for me to explain what it feels like is like this. Imagine all the things you love right now. I won't say all, but 90% of the things you love right now, the things that you're chasing right now, imagine that being taken away and you have no desire for that thing anymore. Imagine that. I said also imagine your lust desire and your desire for sex and your desire for numbers and your desire for body count, the race. I said, imagine waking up and not feeling that. I said, imagine having $1 million right in front of you, cash. Imagine only keeping enough for yourself. Just enough to get by, right? And then imagine letting all the rest of it go to where it needs to go. Just imagine that. I said, I'm just scratching on the surface of this feeling in this place, but you get an idea? So they were with me. It was, I said, oh, okay. So what we got to do? What we got to do? I said, well, before you do what you have to do, I want you to imagine what I just explained. Really imagine that. And are you even capable of that? Are you capable of resisting and having discipline? Are you capable of getting up and devoting every minute of your day to the Most High? If you're not, keep it real. Tell yourself right now, and then, maybe revisit this when you think you're ready. Hopefully it's not when it's too late. But hey, you have the will and the choices to make whatever move you want to make. You get me? But for me, it came with a lot of loss. It came with a lot of sacrifice. It came with a lot of financial ruin. Yeah, finding this sweet spot came with all that stuff. There's a fire you must go through. There is a change and there is a death you must face in order to get here. So I don't want to make it sound too great because the work is hard to get here. So they were hook, line, and sinker now. They seemed like they were all in to wanting to get here, right? I gave them the good. I gave them the not so good. It's not all good candy. Some of it is bad medicine. So my point in this rant is we're living in some times right now that we've never faced before. None of us. So what does that mean? We all have something in common. We've never been where we are now. We've never been in the era of AI where it is now. We've never been in the era of where finances is going. We've never seen paper money go to invisible money. We've never seen that, and we're in the process of it. So we all have something in common that we've never seen before. That's number one. The Most High has a way of working things out. And I believe that before he comes and just takes his thing and just wrecks it all and starts over again, kind of like when he told Noah, listen, man, I need you to build this ark. I need you to put 2 of everything on it that moves and has a heartbeat, because I'm about to get rid of everybody. They don't know how to act. I'm about to get rid of everybody. So build the ark, make it so big and so wide, and I'm about to flood this joint for a few hundred days. Right now, people, we have a crossroad that we're all at. We can be taken by technology, and we can be taken by AI, and we can be taken by the system. We can be taken by the government and be led to wherever it is that they're going to take us. We can do that. There will be a lot of us that choose to do that. But the one thing that's not being talked about is the real master of all this, beyond AI, beyond anything you can create that, outdoes what you think it's outdoing nature. Anything you can create. Silicon Valley, China, Russia could all get together and make the most powerful AI. But when I tell you the Most High has a way of just, Thanosing that. So what we can do right now is either figure out how to work it out. Really, work it out. Friend and friend, man and man, woman and woman, woman and man. Father and child, mother and child. We have a chance right now to work it out. because what's coming and what's up against us is way more powerful than what we can ever think. You know, this AI thing gets smarter every day. Is that what's happening to us? See how they're doing it? You know, it gets smarter and we get dumber. So when it comes to everything being ran by the machine or by the AI, how do we compete? They have an IQ that's way beyond what we have. Just think about it. So now is the time we need to be able to figure it out, drop our weapons, become a part of your Most High, however you do it. But please, there's 24 hours in a day. Give some time to your Most High. Just give some time to your Most High every day without fail. If we don't do it now, I truly believe that even in my lifetime, there will be such a reckoning of man that whoever survives, they'll have utopia. They'll have everything they've ever wanted because for whatever reason they stayed in order, they was able to get through the evil. There won't be many. Remember, the Most High told Noah, his wife, his sons' wives, and all the animals. That was it. Make the ark, get on it. Everybody else got to go. So imagine where what it looks like for us right now. He doesn't have to allow all of us to stay. No. AI won't allow that, nor will the Most High allow AI to control us. So we have to figure it out for ourselves. We are the consumer. We are the heartbeat still. Listen, they can take all the AI they want. If they don't have us around to spend money and to buy in and to be consumer driven, there's no need for anything. Okay? That's why we're still necessary. Now, believe it or not, there's going to come a time where there's nothing has a price tag on it. Everything's going to be free. Anything you want. You want an iPhone? Take it off the tree. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but mark my words, we're there. So let's drop our weapons, folks. Right? Number one. Number two, let's recognize one another in public. Let's really recognize one another. And if the energy is right, let's say a few words to one another. You'd be surprised. You'd be so surprised how lighter you'll feel. Yeah. And if you're trying to find that feeling of what it feels like, you can. It's amazing. It's amazing. So anyway, man of many mistakes. I made them so you don't have to, but you can if you want to. I think we just had a good talk. I hope it helps somebody. I really do.